We'll have President of the Sabey Corporation, Dave Sabey.
Tough act to follow, and I don't have the prepared remarks that you just were visited with, but let me share a few things about Shawn. You were right, we have a tough operation, and I can remember when Shawn first showed up and we interviewed him. The first thing that we look for in people are, what are your core values? How are you founded? That's an important thing to ask people these days. Which way do your compass point? When things get tough, when things are good, do you know which way your compass points? Can you make solid decisions? Shawn's that guy. Shawn has very solid, common sense core values. The best thing I can say about him is he's a very good young man. He is a very good young man. He's hardworking, exactly. There is no task that Shawn will not take. I think one of the simple, short, concise responses that Shawn gives when you ask him to do something is just simply done. You ask him to do something, is that right? I mean, it's just done. You have struck gold. Our system, we talk internally, and we're 60, 80 strong. We talk about being action people in your communities, about not just criticizing, but doing something. Shawn came to me about a month ago or 6 weeks ago. I can't remember when. I'm old too, so I forget. But, yeah. Shawn came to me and said, you know, I'm thinking about running for office. What do you think? And I said, you know, perfect. That's exactly what we're asking you to do. If you want change, if you want to have a better country and a better state and a better county and a better city, you have to participate. You have to get out and do something. That's the beauty of this country, because we can do this. Frank Chop is the governor and the dictator of this state. Few people know that. We don't have a governor. We have Frank Chop. And if you know Frank Chop's a very powerful man. He's a smart man. He's a tenacious man. He's a hard-working man. His problem is his core values have very little to do with anyone. His core values are aligned that the government is what should run everything. If he had his choice, the government would run everything. These people in Olympia right now have a basic belief that there's no amount of money that they can't take from you. This isn't about business, this isn't about labor, it's about a belief that we can continually get more money to fund bigger and bigger government. We're broke. The federal government's broke. The state government's broke. We're $8 billion upside down, and you remember those campaign ads last year, or at the last election, Adino and Gregoire, and I can remember Gregoire because I had this conversation with her saying, you know, I'm proud of our budget. We have a surplus. Well, how can you say, you know, 60 days before an election that you have a surplus and I'm proud of our budget, and you go right at the end of the year and immediately you have $2 billion upside down, going to $4 billion upside down, going to $6 billion upside down, and the only way we got out of it is Mr. Obama wrote us a check for $5 billion. And where did he get that money? He borrowed it from China. And what good did it get us? Where did that money go? Who did it help? We have an $8 billion budget deficit coming in our state, and maybe more if our revenue doesn't go north. We're having a little bit of a lull now where we're all excited and whatever, because all this stimulus money is flowing through the economy. That's kind of economic cocaine. And you know what happens if you've read anything about what happens to people that take those kinds of substances. Shawn was raised and works for us and knows that you have to produce more than you consume. It's a simple deal. You could have to, I mean, in our households and so on, we have to make more money than we consume. That little bit that you have left over at the end of the day, put that in the bank and save it for a rainy day. Simple deal. And I think all of us are built that way, whether it's business, house, personal, whatever. And it's that saving, it's that bit that you saved up that makes you confident that you can survive in a downturn. It's what America is all about. We're living on the shoulders of people that lived in a depression, that saved and built this country. We have people now that run this place that think you can just keep taxing more and spending more. We don't have a revenue problem. We have a spending problem. Nobody wants to talk about cutting spending. I mean, they lie about it, and as you suggested, they talk a good story, but they really don't do anything. I am convinced that if Shawn gets elected, we are chipping away, he will chip away at Frank Chop's hierarchy, he will chip away at Frank Chop's dictatorship, and we will get somebody in there that will begin to build a foundation to talk about making good use of your money. That's all I ask, is that these people make good use of our money. I'm not afraid to put money in. This country's been very good to me. My mother has 7th grade education. She never drove a car. They're immigrants like all of us were at one time. English wasn't their first language. We've been very successful in the American way, the way I was raised, but we don't have the American way now. We're precluded from that. Shawn, I know, because we'll be right behind him, he moves off of those compass points. We have ways to take care of that. We're tough taskmasters, and I think we have 6 or 8 of our folks here, and I think they would agree with us. We're on a mission. Shawn's on a mission. I'm proud that Shawn stood up and said, I'll run for this deal, and we and our system are here to support Shawn, and to give you a credential, we know him, we live with him. This is a very good young man. As you said, you have hit gold here. Let's do what we can to get this guy elected and take our state back and get ourselves back on a sound financial standings, and maybe as an example to the rest of the country that what we have to do is to get our confidence back and to get back to where we can have our head up and be proud of ourselves. Shawn, I'm just pleased for these few minutes. Thank you, and good luck.